Here we are back at the first downwind of the first lap. We have the first leading boats coming out to the right hand side. Sam King on board there. Hutchins boat, Hugo Allison, as I spoke about earlier. You see that the leading boat has actually dropped their jib just a little bit. And what that does is just allow the top of the kite to fill with the wind a little bit more. And they usually do that when the wind is not as strong. Hugo Allison there. Kite's been trimmed very well there by one of the Hutchins young boys. Looks like in third place here, Steve Catchbolt. Hutchins boat has made a jibe inside the leading boat. Looks like they'll go for another jibe as well. Have a look at their kite work as they go through this jibe. Sam King on the kite there, beautifully blown through. Very good boat handling skills and so important for races like this. Same again with Steve Catchbolt's boat. Very much in sync with their crew members at the moment. The boats out on the left-hand side of the course, they will have to do another jibe, I believe, unless there is a major wind shift, which I don't believe there is going to be. I hope not. And you can see a couple of the other boats adapting the same technique of bringing the jib sail down at the front, just to allow that kite to feel a bit better. Just another look at the conditions. Still relatively, probably died just a little bit from what we had at the start, probably around 6 to 7 knots now, but it is nice and consistent still, so that's all you can really ask for. Thanks everyone who's joining us. I know there's a couple, in particular Jack Allison over on the other side of the world, looking into his home state, his home sailing place, to keep an eye on probably his mother and his brother, but it's nice to have everyone to join as we work our way over to the other boats down on the blue kite export route. Michael Cooper, Sludgy Cooper as I've been referring him to. And as you can see on the other side there is a green kite and a white, two white kites and a black kite as they come across to jibe, heading back towards the bottom mark. Now the bottom mark, you've got two gates down there as you probably can't see at the moment. So you've got an option to go either to the left-hand side or the right-hand side gate, depending on, I guess, your race tactics for the day. The breeze is dying just a little bit here. You can see those boats just in front of us are in a little bit of a lull. Hutchins boat there, still sailing with enough speed. But they are in a bit of a lull at the moment. Looks like there is a little bit more breeze coming down towards us. And hopefully that keeps coming. As you can see down the bottom, Will Sargent, Cook Your Own Dinner, they come across, and Willie Smith as well, they're coming across on a quite an actual shy reach. So they've got quite nice pace as they come closer to the other pack. Got Fraser Reid here. Fraser is a well-known sailor in Hobart here, and he's got on board a young crew, which Fraser is very good at developing young sailors, and he's always very good with the young'uns, which is nice to see. They can learn off a very well experienced sailor, especially in the Sharpie fleet as well. He's got his daughter on board. Faye Reid and Indy Cooper, daughter of Brett Cooper. As we'll make our way towards the two gates there, you can see the tactics sort of come into light with which side of the course they would like to continue on. I do believe Will Sargent has probably picked up quite a few boats here, driving out nice and early, so that was a great tactic move from him, and he's put himself back into the top probably 5 at the moment, maybe even better. We'll have to wait and see. Same with Cook Your Own Dinner, they've come back nicely, always got great boat speed, and as I said before, they've got a bit of extra muscle on board this regatta with Charlie Connor being and also a young well-known sailor in Hobart, with the Moths and the Sharpies especially, and back in the day the Old Cadets. So it looks like Sludgy Cooper and Will Sargent will round as 1 and 2 at the bottom mark. They are going to the right-hand gate to head up to the left-hand side of the course. It'll be interesting to see if they continue to the left-hand side or they might decide to tack up the middle of the course. Cook Your Own Dinner again. They look like they're in 3rd position. They've chosen to actually go to the left-hand gate. But as I said again, guys, really good close racing is what we like to see on especially day 1 and race 1 of an Australian National Championship. There we go, Sludgy Cooper and Will Sargent, they have tacked across. They've got great speed here, Sludge Cooper, along with Will Sargent as well. Got Steve Catchpult here. He's dropped just a few places, but I'm sure he'll catch up as he usually does. And he's looking like he's wanting to go to the left-hand side of the course. Oh, no, he's tacking across. Got Willie Smith's coming across here. They're sailing well as well. As I said, guys, before, the quality of sailing we have here in Tasmania is really exciting. We've got a various mix of ages throughout this fleet, which is always great to see, with the experienced and the youth coming through. I'm sure my mother will be pleased I use the word experienced, not older. Phil Reid here. He's got a little bit of work to do on this second seat. Tactician Rowan Langford on board. Again, Esther Reid's on board and Amelia Catt, as we spoke about earlier. Rowan and Phil will be looking very closely to this wind and to try and figure out the best possible course back up to the top marks. That wind has probably picked up a couple knots now, which is nice, filling in a little bit more. See, get up nice and close with Phil Reid, who I believe is the reigning champion. And you can see Phil's got relatively good amount of backstay on. A little bit different to probably a couple of the other boats. But as I said, tactics and boat setups do vary depending on each sailor and each boat. And he's gone with that setup. And he's looking like he's flying. Taking a bit of a bang your corner sort of approach possibly could be banging the left-hand corner. Rowan Langsford might have seen a little shift coming outside the left-hand side of the course, as he is the only one actually on the left-hand side of the course at the moment. So probably going for a hero move, which is probably appropriate at this moment for him, as we work our way back across to the other fleet. That it is Michael Cooper in the lead, with Will Sargent closely behind. But as we all know, people watching, if you don't know, I think majority of people watching are keen sailors, but we all know that it can change very quickly, especially in a place like Hobart, Riverderwin. I don't believe it will, due to the conditions at the moment. It's quite consistent, not too many shifts, a nice sea breeze. On the other hand, if it was a westerly coming up the beautiful mountains there, we could see some different conditions, and that's usually the hardest time to sail. Willie Smith's boat there, they're sailing nicely. David Graney there also, they've both got really nice clear wind. No one's sitting either side of them, means they can really just focus purely on their boat speed and maintaining some height if possible. See, Will Sargent through there has made a tack across the fleet. He will cross, I can't see who that is, but the boat just in front. Steve Catchpole coming back across the right hand side again, and there goes Will Sargent with another tack. Unfortunately tacked on one of the other boats, but that's alright. Steve Catchport will have to duck. He is on port. Actually, down there on the right hand side, we've got Cookie-Rendinner and Michael Cooper. Now, Cookie-Rendinner did go to the right hand gate, if you recall, left hand gate, sorry, at the bottom mark. So therefore, they will be a tad lower than Michael Cooper, as he did go to the right hand side gate. But it looks like their boat speed's matching Michael's very well, as Michael goes for a lovely tack there and maintains all his boat speed, which is great. And Cookie-Rendinner follows closely. They've got Hugo Allison. Now he's dropped back just a little bit, but definitely not writing him off, because as we know, he is a very capable and smart young sailor. Has had a lot of experience for his young age, sailing all around the world, in the international cadets especially. Will Sargent there, Youth World Championship sailor. Now this will be a little bit of an interesting cross, because Cookie-Rendinner has got great boat speed here, and they are higher than everybody else on the course at the moment. So it's going to be interesting to see if they get a cross in, which I believe they will be at this moment. It's hard to tell from the angles that we have, but they, as I said again, got great boat speed. Main and jib looking fabulous. Boat set up lovely. Good amount of backstay on as well. As Nick Rogers goes through there with Sam King on board as well. We've had a David Graney's had to tack due to Michael Cooper being on starboard. So it will be a bit of a concentration on their boat speed and their height to ensure that Michael Cooper stays in adequate air, which he is doing with ease. Willie Smith coming across here. Another boat that's looking very good as well. As you can see, it's in nice and far forward. The stand up out of the water. David Graney decides to get out of Michael Cooper's bad air. So here we have some great sailors here. So Sludgy Cooper there. Will Sargent's gone for attack. Most likely to make sure that he's on starboard going around the top mark. Steve Catchpool's done the same thing. And you're probably going to see an attack from Sludgy Cooper relatively soon. As you can see down the other side of the course, Phil Reed's decision to go left probably hasn't paid off as well as he hoped to. But definitely don't write him off, guys. He'll be back in the second race for sure. Cook Your Own Dinner goes for a nice tack there. Kept their speed through that tack nicely. And the jib comes on. They've also, as I said, got a nice amount of backstay on. And we look at the interesting different boat setups of Will Sargent here. He's got a lot of backstay on. So I guess, as I said before, different tactics, different boat setups, figuring out what works for you as Steve Catchpool's had to go for attack due to not being able to cross these two boats here. We've got Brett Cooper here. As I said, good old Brett's come out of a bit of retirement, I can say, to come sail this regatta. He's got a world-class professional sailor on board, a Kiwi, Will, and Sam Tiedemann, who the Hobartians definitely all know, another world-class sailor in Tees there. As Sludgy Cooper goes for attack underneath Will Sargent. This will be interesting, guys, to see if Sludge can hold his height. Looks like he'll be able to lay this mark quite comfortably. And Cook Your Own Dinner there is flying across the most windward boat of them all. And there's actually been quite a good lift here from Steve Catchpool, as you can see. He's got a nice lift with the nice pace that he's got. He's been able to sneak up there. It looks like he'll be able to lay that mark, so that could be interesting in the positioning. As Willie Smith and Brett Cooper go for another tack to ensure that they can lay that mark as well and get some nice clean air. Looks like all of the boats right now, these four boats here that look like they're a top 5 at the moment, majority of them have overlaid the mark. So what you'll see is them probably starting to ease a little bit of their jib to ensure they've got good speed. They don't need that height anymore as they work their way down towards the top mark. Sludgy Cooper in first position. Steve Catchpool is slowing down just a little bit due to the other boats coming across his windward side and taking a bit of that wind that he had before. He'll definitely still be up in that top 5, top 4. He's done very well to keep that position. Sludgy Cooper coming around the first top mark, heading towards the reach mark or the hitch mark. And you'll see that they are not allowed to, well, let's put their poles out, I believe. But they're not allowed to hoist their kite until they are around that top mark, I believe. Nice set from Export Roo there. Oh, a little bit of a wine glass here. Oh, not quite. Got Cook Your Own Dinner has come back from third. As I said before, guys, Will Sargent and Cook Your Own Dinner, who's Felicity Allison and Jill Abel, they did jibe out at the very first top mark. And they were towards, well, at the back of the fleet. So you can see how in sailing, it's never over. It's never over for fat lady sings, as I like to say, and anything can happen, especially here in the Riverdale. David Graney decides to go across the left-hand side of the course. Same as Steve Catchpool. Hutchins' boat, Hugo Allison, comes around now. He's decided to go for a jibe set. He's lost a few places. But as I said, guys, anything can happen, so I wouldn't write any of these boats off at the back at all. We'll take a break there at the moment, guys, and we'll make our way down towards the bottom mark and we'll catch you then.